closer, closer, closer than I've ever been.
Say hi. Say hi. Hi. Okay. Alright, well. Alright, I am back again. No, fuck that. Alright, what is up everybody? Back here for video number 2. This one is on HTML specifically. So it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. You can see here I just laid it out in that way so you understood the acronym and everything. But what is HTML? It is a markup language, like I just said. It is usually the first language learned by most developers because it's the easiest out of all and you need it for everything else. It builds a foundation for everything else, like I just said, whether you want to go front end, back end, any direction you're going for in software, you need to know HTML at the beginning. So it's generally not considered a programming language by most because it just lays down the building blocks for everything else. It's not actually doing any hard coding or server interaction or anything. And then what you need to start, it's a lot more simplistic than people think. You just need a web browser. My choice, Google Chrome. You can choose anything if you're still using Safari or Mozilla. But then you need a text editor, and this is where people get a little salty if you don't use their favorite one. But I've used Atom before. I've used Sublime, Brackets, never used Notepad, but you can if you want to. I choose Visual Studio Code. I'll show you in the next part of this video. I just love it for the themes it offers, how easy it is to work. I love the layout and everything, but really the top 3 here are all interchangeable. They're all good. So then the next one is creating an HTML file. This does not need a server to run, just your web browser. So that means there's low barrier to entry, which is really good because anyone that has any interest in this whatsoever can just start any day they want. And then the file extension needs to be HTML though. That's a necessity. It can run on a web browser, which you'll see in 1 second. And then index HTML is usually the home page of a website. That's just commonly understood in the industry, and it makes everything easier. So if you're looking for a certain file, you know index is the home page. And then for the last slide, syntax is something that changes depending on the language that you're using. But for HTML, each one is this is called a tag. And then most of them have front and backs, the pairs, so body, paragraph, H1 scripts, those all have a front and a back. And then in the back, there's this / here that separates it. So that's how you know it's a back tag, this is how you know it's a front tag. And then for the last portion, a few of them are self-closing. I wrote a few here. The line break can either be written as BR / or just BR, either one is fine. And then for a link, if you're linking a different style sheet like a CSS file, it is only the link. There's no ending link with the / at the end. So yeah, let's get on to the actual coding part of this. Alright, what's up everybody? We're back for the second part of this video, which is going to be learning some HTML code. So like I said in the previous portion of this video, you only need 2 things, which is a text editor and then a web browser. So as you can see here, I have Google Chrome. This is opened already, but I'm going to show you the easy way to open it in Visual Studio Code or whatever text editor you're working with. But mine's just saved in code for YouTube, and then this is my second video. So you right click on the file you want to open that's ended in HTML, and then you open with Google Chrome, and it opens up here. Obviously we only need one of them, so we'll exit out of that. But that's how you open your video in your file in your web browser, and then you can just get started right from there. All you do is save your document over here and then refresh here, and I'll show you some changes and whatnot here in a minute. But let's get started off. So the first thing is your document type. You have to just outline this so it just defines what document you're working in. And so we're working HTML, and then your language is English. You don't have to, emphasize that, but I choose to do so. And then the first stop is your header section. So mainly this section includes your metadata, which you don't have to worry about a lot about now, at least because we're not working with like backend or servers or anything. So the main part is probably going to be your title, which is practice code. This is what shows up in the actual tab of your web browser. So over here it says practice code. If we wanted to change it to Michael's second video. We just save that, come over here, refresh it, Michael's second video. So you can change it to whatever you'd like. This is what, you see on, popular web pages. That's what like their company is usually in that tab. But then that second most important part in your header is probably going to be your link to your style sheet, which is not what this video is about, but probably what my next video and the video after that will be about is CSS. So that goes hand in hand with HTML, and CSS stands for cascading style sheets. That's what gives all of this style, color, formatting, everything. It makes it look nice. This looks like dog shit right now, speaking of dogs, but this looks terrible right now, and the CSS is what comes together and actually makes it look like a nice website, including the JavaScript, which is down the road as well. So those are your two main things in your header tag, and then after the header is your body, and the body, anything in the body section at all, is what you see on the actual web page. So this is what's called a comment right here, and it's really just for developers to look and put side notes for other developers or yourself if you're sharing the document, or you just want to keep notice stuff for yourself. And then after the comment, we have a div tag, which honestly right now you're not going to need to use a ton, but I included it just to showcase it. And it is mainly used just for dividing sections, as you can see, div. So I just use it as an example right here to divide all these headings in this paragraph from everything else that we're going to talk about here. But yeah, you just got to use it accordingly. A lot of people, including myself, put IDs with divs to make it easier to find when you're styling and everything. So that's down the road as well. But just a div is for separations and neatness and everything. And then starting off, we have our headers. There's 6 options, as you can see here. All of these ranging in sizes, 1 being the largest, 6 being the smallest. And your ones, you can make them larger in the CSS and whatnot, but these are usually the main 3 you're going to see are 1, 2, and 3. Not too many times I see 4, 5, and 6 out there. And then after that, I made this comment for myself just to put the formatting in this paragraph, which P is a paragraph tag. And then for all this sample text, if you just type in lorem ipsum, it gives you all the sample text. So you can it'll show you what normal text would look like on the page, because you don't really have text to type in. This isn't a website, this is just an example video. And so the first one is EM, which stands for emphasize. So that puts italics on a word, which is this one right here. And then the next one is strong, or you can use B for bold, I'm pretty sure. Either one, they go hand in hand, and this makes this word bold over here. So I mean, it's just little stuff behind the scenes that you don't see that you need to know for certain formattings on websites. And then is the closed div, and then an HR stands for horizontal row. This is what this line is right here. It's kind of just like to separate a portion of a website if you need to. You're probably not going to use it a ton, but it does come in handy every now and then if you don't use a border or anything. And then after the horizontal row, we have a form tag, which inside of the form tag we have an input tag, which is text right now because that's what we're going to be putting in the form. And then this, I'm sure everyone's used to like a security page or a front page where you have to type in first name, last name, phone number, password, whatever. And this is what this is. So this has user interaction. It's the first part of HTML that has user interaction. And then you can, with JavaScript, you can get what the user types in and do something with it. That is down the line as well, but that's when it starts getting fun.
I'm a fun guy.
Right now it's kind of just boring. It's just like the meat and potatoes. It's just the web page. But next we have a BR tag, which is just a line break. It's just a simple line break, so it creates some space in there so it's not as ugly. And then we'll actually do the picture next. It's just an image is a self-closing. There's no second portion to it. And then for each image tag, you're gonna have an SRC, which stands for source. And then I just labeled this corgi.jpg, and you can just put it in certain files in your Finder so you can find it easily. And then you can take any images you want and toss them in here off the web, do whatever you want. I just added the picture of a corgi because I love corgis. And that's it for the images. Next I just put some BR tags just to create some space. I actually skipped over the button here. This Buttons can do a ton once you get into JavaScript, but right now I just titled this one Click Me. The type is button, obviously, and if I click it, it does nothing, but then you can create actions with JavaScript that let you do stuff with it. So that's super interesting. And then next we have a link. This is a hyperlink, and it has a reference, an href. So that is going to take it to the text. You can put as whatever you'd like. I could just put I love corgis in here, if I could spell it right. I love corgis. And then if I save that and still have the PacSun URL here and the hyperlink, it'll say I love corgis, and if I click it, it'll still go to PacSun. So that's pretty cool. So really what matters on your direction for the user is what's in the href. And I put target blank because if you were not to, it would take them on the same tab. And when you're on a website, you don't want your customer or whoever visitor leaving your website. So if you put target blank, it takes them to an entirely new tab, which is extremely useful because then they can come back to yours without hitting the back button. So next we're gonna have our lists, which there's two types of lists. There's an unordered list, which is UL, and then an ordered list. And really the only difference is unordered lists have bullets and ordered lists have numbers. So I just made example lists that normal people would have. The first is a list of 5 unordered lists of just my family members. So it's just myself, Lisa, Emily, Julie, and Ken. And you can put it in any order you want, do whatever you want. You can change the bullet points too if you'd like, if that's not what you desire for the list. And then an ordered list is it's 1 through whatever you'd like. It's I more so attribute it to like a to-do list or something like that. That's what I created here. So I just said workout, do laundry, meal prep, grocery shopping, and then dinner with mom, just whatever you have to do during the day or whatever you can use it for your website. Okay, and then the last portion of this video is going to be tables, which are the most difficult out of everything we've talked about so far, but that's not saying too much because nothing's been too difficult. So the first row is going to be your headers of everything. So it's still a table row, a TR, just like all of these are too, but this you need to understand, it's like these tags are THs, table headers, instead of table data. So the first one's contestant, distance, and time. I just made up a little table and it looks ugly, I get it, but that's where the CSS comes in, where we can style it and make it look nice. But and then the rest of your rows are just going to be the data you'd like to include in it. So it all needs to be confluent with one another. So Mike, the names first, John, Charlie, Sophia, and then 2.7, 1.9. I just made all these numbers up, 3.2, 2.5, and then everyone's time here as well. So you can do a ton with tables. They do get a lot more difficult and complex, but for this video, I'm going to keep it pretty simple. And that's about it for the intro to HTML. There obviously are some things that we skipped over, but that's just because you don't use them too much. This is mainly everything that you're going to use every time you make a website. That's what we're starting off with, web development. So in the next video, I'll be going over CSS. I'll probably take 2 videos to explain all that, or the basics of it at least. And then in the future, in a week or 2 here, I'm going to actually build out a website, just a plain home page. We might have some other links to different pages and whatnot, but we'll just start that out and build it out as much as we can. Just have some fun with it, okay? So thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day.
Closer, closer, closer than I've ever been.